Have you ever wondered what it was like to face down a creature the size of a two-story building, armed with nothing but a sharpened stone on a stick? It sounds like something out of a fantasy epic. But for the first people of the Americas, this was reality. We're journeying back over 13,000 years into the Ice Age, a world of sweeping glaciers and colossal beasts, to uncover the incredible story of Paleo-Indians and their epic hunts for mammoths and mastodons. This isn't just about survival. It's a tale of human ingenuity, courage, and a weapon so effective it defined an entire era. The Fluted Stone Point. Imagine a landscape vastly different from today. North America is a chilly, sprawling savanna dotted with spruce forests and massive ice sheets to the north. And roaming this land are giants. Not just any giants, but megafauna. We're talking about the Columbian mammoth, towering up to 13 feet at the shoulder, with immense, curving tusks. We have the stockier, forest-dwelling mastodon, a powerful browser of trees and shrubs. And let's not forget the giant ground sloths, saber-toothed cats, and enormous short-faced bears. It was into this world, a real-life land of the lost, that the first humans arrived. These pioneers, whom we call Paleo-Indians, were expert hunter-gatherers, moving in small, mobile family groups. They didn't have permanent villages. The world was their home, and they followed the herds that provided their livelihood. Everything they needed came from the land. Food, clothing, shelter, tools that all depended on their deep, intimate knowledge of the environment and the animals within it. And when it came to hunting, the biggest game of all, they had a revolutionary piece of technology. Let's talk about the Fluted Point. It might just look like a beautifully crafted arrowhead to us, but this was a Stone Age marvel of engineering. The most famous of these are the Clovis points, named after the site in New Mexico where they were first discovered alongside mammoth bones. What makes them so special is the fluted distinctive channel or groove running up from the base. This wasn't just for decoration. This flute was a game changer. It thinned the base of the point, allowing it to be hafted, or attached, to a spear shaft much more securely. Think of it like a custom-fit socket. This created a durable, reliable, and deadly weapon. When you're hunting an animal that weighs 10 tons, the last thing you want is for your spear tip to break or fall off. The Fluted Point was the answer. But how do you even begin to hunt a mammoth? A single hunter against a mammoth is a suicide mission. This was a team sport, requiring incredible strategy, communication, and bravery. Archaeologists believe Paleo-Indians used a variety of clever tactics. They were masters of ambush. They might have used the natural landscape to their advantage, driving a mammoth into a narrow ravine, a bog, or a dead-end gully, where its movement was restricted. Imagine the coordinated effort of a group of hunters, perhaps using fire and noise, to panic the animal and steer it exactly where they wanted it. Once the animal was trapped, the real danger began. The weapon of choice was likely a thrusting spear, not a thrown one. The hunters would need to get dangerously close, moving in quickly to jab their stone-tipped spears into vulnerable areas of the mammoth's body, likely the underbelly or the ribcage, aiming for vital organs like the lungs and heart. This was a high-stakes, high-adrenaline encounter. A single swipe of a tusk or a stomp of a massive foot would be instantly fatal. They had to be quick, precise, and work together as a perfectly synchronized team. Another key piece of technology was the atlot, or spear thrower. An atlatl is essentially a stick with a hook at the end that cradles the spear. By using it, a hunter could launch a spear with far greater velocity and force than with their arm alone. It acts as an extension of the arm, a lever that multiplies the power of the throw. While the close-quarters thrusting spear was probably crucial for the final kill, atlatlots could have been used from a safer distance, to wound and slow down the animal or to pick off younger, less experienced mammoths that had been separated from the herd. Every tool in their arsenal was designed to close the gap between human and giant. A successful hunt was a monumental event for a Paleo-Indian group. A single mammoth was a treasure trove of resources. We're talking about thousands of pounds of meat, which could be eaten fresh or dried and stored to sustain the group for weeks, even months. The thick hide would be used for clothing, blankets, and to cover their shelters. The massive bones and tusks were invaluable raw materials. They could be shaped into more tools, needles for sewing, and even served as structural supports for dwellings. Some archaeologists have even found mammoth bone caches, suggesting that these materials were so precious they were stored for future use. Absolutely nothing went to waste. This connection between the hunters and the hunted is written in stone. All across North America, from Florida to Washington, archaeologists have found these distinctive fluted points, and critically, at several sites, they've found them directly associated with mammoth and mastodon skeletons. The Naku site in Arizona, for example, yielded a mammoth skeleton with 8 Clovis points embedded in it. This is the smoking gun, the undeniable proof that these people were successfully hunting these massive animals. Each of these sites is a frozen moment in time, a dramatic scene from the end of the Ice Age that tells a story of a life and death struggle. But the world of the Paleo-Indians was not destined to last. Around 11,000 years ago, the climate began to warm rapidly. The great ice sheets retreated, and the habitats that supported the megafauna began to disappear. The grassy plains turned into forests, and the mammoths, mastodons, and other giants started to vanish. Whether their extinction was caused by this climate change, the pressure of human hunting, a theory known as the overkill hypothesis, or a combination of both, is still one of archaeology's most debated questions. What we do know is that as the giants disappeared, the people adapted. The era of the fluted point and the big game hunter gave way to new strategies. People began hunting smaller game, like bison, deer, and elk, and relying more on a wider variety of plants, fish, and shellfish. The tools changed, the hunting methods changed, and cultures diversified across the continent. The end of the Ice Age marked the end of one chapter in human history and the beginning of many new ones. So, the next time you see a mammoth skeleton in a museum, don't just see an extinct animal. See the world it lived in. Picture the small bands of courageous human families who looked at that colossal creature not with fear, but as a challenge to be overcome with skill, intelligence, and a perfectly crafted stone point. They were the true pioneers of this continent, innovators who not only survived but thrived in a world of giants. Their legacy isn't just in the tools they left behind, but in the enduring spirit of human resilience and ingenuity. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time.